Hello, everyone, and welcome to Deeply Simple. My name is Vidushi Sandhir, and I'm so glad that you're here. At Deeply Simple, we do what's in the name. We break down deep concepts around wellness, mindfulness, into simple and easy to understand habits, routines, and tools that are not only effective but also time efficient.
Today, I want to talk about what to look for in a therapist if you're looking. Say you decided time to invest in therapy. You might be new to therapy, or maybe you're looking to change your therapist for some reason. Recently, my therapist changed jobs and we had to end our sessions. This is what actually prompted me to record this podcast, because during my time with him, I had often noticed that this was the first time when I felt that therapy was really working. That made me think of the values and characteristics of a therapist that are very critical. Now, why is this topic even worth discussing? So, in therapy, we share our valuable time and, more importantly, our personal stories with someone. I have heard many people trying to find a fit and sometimes giving up on therapy altogether. I truly believe in the power of therapy. I also truly believe that breakthroughs can happen when we stick with the right therapist and do the work over time. I also believe that with the wrong therapist, we can make little to no progress, and sometimes it can also leave a damaging effect or impact. So today I'm going to touch on 4 core things that in my personal experience helped me feel more seen and heard in therapy. I'm hoping just by sharing my story, maybe you find resonance with some of the aspects that I share, or it makes you think about some aspects that you look for in a therapist or a counselor or a coach. So number 1, and this is, you might laugh when I mention this, but this is being professional. I know I should not even have to call it out, but believe it or not, I have heard and firsthand witnessed therapists who have missed appointments, have been consistently late to appointments, or have a lack of follow-up on some billing questions, etc. Now, therapy is one domain where you want to make every other aspect of the process as simple as possible. What do I mean by every other aspect? Billing, commute, timeliness. You want to make them as seamless as possible. Because you're having some hard discussions in the room, therapy in itself is hard. So everything around it can be simple. So if you notice a lack of basic professionalism, have a conversation with your therapist, and if things don't change, really decide if that environment is still worth investing in. Number 2 is remembering details from your story. This is key for me personally. Having spoken to many therapists, I was a little taken aback that not all therapists take notes. Potentially, they feel it's more important to be fully present with the patient. However, I found that those therapists would sometimes forget key things from a few weeks back, and I would have to constantly fill in gaps in memory. My last therapist took notes, and I noticed that he was able to connect the dots in my stories much faster because he had something to reference, and that helped him jog his memory. So basically, I didn't have to continually sit and repeat the same thing over and over in multiple sessions. That can be quite frustrating and honestly a waste of precious therapy time. Also, who doesn't like when their therapist remembers the name of their dog? Number 3, holding you accountable. Basic therapists will validate your feelings and story. They're taught that in school. This can sound something like the anger you feel is valid. It can sound like the reason you felt XYZ is because this person made you feel ABC. So kind of just validating where you're at today and what you're sharing with them, making you feel that what you feel is okay. That's validation. This is what basic therapists would do. But great therapists will go one step forward and will hold you accountable for your role in your stories and patterns. If you are in constant misunderstandings with someone, for example, a great therapist will not only validate that it can be frustrating, but gently help you ask what your role is in that story. This seemingly simple trait is very important and very rare in therapists. Just validation by itself can be comforting, sure, but it can also be damaging. It can lead one to believe that they have no accountability in the situation and challenges in their lives. And all causes are outside of them. All causes are either in the job or the people that they have in their life. This is disempowering and can turn the therapy room, in my opinion, it can turn the therapy room into a complaining session. However, if a therapist is able to help you identify what you can do to bring about constructive change in the situation, then that change is lasting. That session is constructive and empowering. Let me share an example from my life. I would share with my therapists conflicts that I had had with my ex-husband. This was my way of processing my divorce. My therapist asked me probing questions such as, why did I behave the way I did? How was I feeling when things were this way? Or when have I felt the same way? When have I behaved the same way? What triggered my behavior? These are just example questions, but they helped me see my role in the relationship that I had with my ex-husband. Without that information at hand, I would not feel equipped to show up as a better partner in relationships now. I would stay the same. I would change partners, but I would still be the same. So I would exhibit the same conflict behavior and see same results. No progress. Finally, number 4, reflection and communication. We do a lot of deep reflective work in therapy. And one of the things I really value is when a therapist applies the same reflection to our sessions. My therapist would do check-ins with me to understand how I was feeling about the sessions, if I had any needs that were unmet, if I thought that we could change something. This regular check-in really showed me that my therapist was committed to making the sessions impactful and was willing to adjust their approach to better meet my needs. Like I said before, I truly 100% believe in the power of therapy. But I also think that the actual power, the actual transformation comes when the therapist that you're working with is a good fit and when you are committed to taking this journey with them. I have some other wellness related content. I try to kind of keep my podcasts under 10 minutes so that it's an effective use of your time. So if you're interested in more such content, I'm going to drop the link to some of my resources in the show notes. If you like this podcast, show your love, share it with people, subscribe. It helps people get to my channel and also helps me put out the right content. Till next time, take care.